Is that going to work now? Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. Super happy to have you here. Got a really cool program, if you want to call it, agenda for you today. We're going to cover some fun stuff. But first things first, anybody that's watching right now, make sure and you drop a comment, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Hurry and comment right now where you're watching from, or just leave any comment at all. I don't care if you just do a smiley face or first or whatever you want to do, but that'll start telling YouTube and Facebook that this video is important, that people like watching it as well. If you like anything I have to say at all, you can hit the like button or react in some way. That will also help with things. But if you can let us know where you're watching from, that'll be fantastic. And we'll call out some of you that are joining us. So we have got someone watching from California. That's Somebody Fox. Welcome from California. Welcome from Colorado, Monica. Glad to have you with us. We've got, let's see, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but from Arizona. Cool. They say hello, Daniel. Well, hello to you. Really glad to have you. And from Mississippi, Michael, welcome. And Chase Ogden on YouTube. Glad to have you, Chase. And who else have we got? Rex from Utah. Utah represent. That's great. We've got some really cool stuff coming up with somebody else from the Bay Area, from Northern California. Awesome. Super happy to have anybody from the Bay Area. You're probably in a minority there in some way, but super excited for this live stream. Those of you that saw the email or that have been seeing the updates on Facebook, we're going to be seeing the Animatic for episode 4 today. So that's going to be really fun. It's about entrepreneurship. That'll be coming up a little bit later. But first, we are going to be interviewing our producer extraordinaire, Jordyn Curley. She'll be joining us in just a little bit here. And then after talking with Jordyn, she'll run us through some of her day-to-day responsibilities as a producer and some of the process of creating a show like this in 2D animation. And we'll watch the Animatic, and after that, we'll give a few show updates and open it up for questions and that type of thing. So again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your support in investing in the show. And we are well on our way to producing a first season of Tuttle Twins, and super excited about the way that is coming along. So is that about it, Jared? Should we be jumping into the interview? Cool. Well, we've got Jordyn that is visiting with us here, joining us from California, from an undisclosed area in California, not a secret.
In an underground bunker in California.
Underground bunker with little pink flowers in California. Anyway, this is Jordyn Curley. She's our producer. She's doing a fantastic job. And welcome. Glad to have you on.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Excited.
Awesome. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Why is it that you're so cool?
Why is it that I'm so cool? That's a great question. It might be because I'm the youngest child. Usually the younger, you are in that, sibling hierarchy, the cooler you are. So I think that's probably why I'm so cool.
Okay, very cool. How many kids in your family, by the way?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Youngest of 4. Very cool.
So,
okay.
Not huge, but large enough to give a mother a headache. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And Jordyn, you're not from California itself. Why don't you give everybody a little bit of your background of where kind of you come from
definitely.
and your work experience?
Sure. Yeah. So I am not from California. Just moved here in 2019, December. So just in time for everything to start closing down, which has been fun. But before that, my husband and I were living in Maine, in Portland, Maine. And if you guys have not been out to visit Portland, Maine, go visit it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The weather is fantastic during the summer. And if you like nice snowy winters, go out there for the winter time as well. But even then, I'm not from Maine. Before that, I was living in Massachusetts, where I went to college and then afterwards started my career in Massachusetts. But I'm not even from Massachusetts. I'm actually from New York. And so I have lived in those 3 states as well as in Florida, so all up and down the East Coast. And my work history has been quite varied. I've worked on feature films, so I helped with the production coordination in the story side of things for Ice Age 5, That was the latest, and now we know Blue Sky is closed. So that was the last Ice Age that'll be created, unless Disney decides to bring it back. And then also we worked on the Peanuts movie. We worked on Ferdinand. We worked on lots of good stuff there as well. I have also done plenty of jobs for car industries, for Porsche, for GMC, lots of different things for all sorts of companies. I've worked with medical companies, all in the realm of creating content, creating original content for all sorts of projects, from virtual reality and augmented reality to LEDs to touch screens to holograms, projection mapping, 3D animation, of course, and 2D animation. So my work experience definitely spans a very wide range.
Absolutely. And in college, you actually did study animation, right? You know how to draw. You were actually kind of going down that road for a little while, right?
Yeah, correct. So my school, I went to school in Boston, like I said, and my school, they taught you everything you need to know for the entirety of what's called the pipeline. The pipeline is the process that the animation takes from the very first part all the way till you finally actually see full animation. So we learned script writing, we learned how to edit film, we learned how to go ahead and edit audio. Then we learned 3D, how to 3D model. We learned rigging, which is how you basically take a 3D or 2D drawing and you make it into a puppet so that you can use it for animation. Learned animation, compositing, a whole bunch of good things. And what that does is it helps make you really, really well-rounded if you want to be a producer, because then you know all of the elements of the pipeline so that you can help kind of problem solve and troubleshoot as things come up.
Yeah. So each stage of the process, essentially, you've had your hand in, like, in a test to that. Like Jordyn knows, I think, more apps and different programs than almost anyone I know can kind of pull from and has experience with, and can kind of just problem solve and get stuff done. And it's interesting how we found Jordyn, actually. Our original producer on episode 1, Josh Stofferun, that was working on it with us, and we were basically kind of drowning a little bit because we had a lot of experience in live action and in making content for ads, but never for a 2D animated TV series. And so we just needed help because we were getting a little bit lost in this whole system and process of doing animation. We know how to tell stories and stuff, and we could eventually get to good stuff, but we just needed someone to really come in and help us clean this up and just run this the way it needs to be run. And so we reached out to our different network contacts. In fact, one of them, our storyboard artist Eden, was the one that referred. I think he reached out to his friend Moroni Taylor, who also worked at Blue Sky Studios with you at the time, Jordyn. And that was how we learned about you, got your contact information, reached out, and started the conversation. And then kind of from there, we're off and running, right?
Yeah, and that's actually one of my favorite things about the animation industry is you never know who you know that is going to end up helping you out at some point. The animation industry is definitely full of a lot of people that are fantastic and they want to help you grow. And that's why I love it. I really do love this industry.
Awesome. Why was it that you were excited about joining Tuttle Twins? Tuttle Twins. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I was excited about Tuttle Twins because ever since I graduated college, I always wanted to do educational kids television. Of course, growing up, Magic School Bus was like my jam. Loved Magic School Bus. And I love the fact that it gave you knowledge. And it gave me maybe some things that other kids at school didn't know. Like I could teach them, how an engine worked, teach them about what turbines are, because I watched the Magic School Bus episode where they shrink down and go into the engine. I liked having that knowledge in a fun way represented. So that's one thing that I was really excited about with Tuttle Twins, is that we take very advanced concepts, things that are really difficult, especially for a child and a lot of adults even, to understand. And we help break them down in a way that's not only fun and entertaining, but really educational as well. So when Tuttle Twins was ultimately shown to me, I was really excited for the educational aspect, and then also really excited for the fact that it's something that you don't learn in school, right? Like we may learn how an engine works in school. We may learn how cells live in the body in school, things that we were learning in the Magic School Bus. But what we get with Tuttle Twins is more of that economic side, that, what is an entrepreneur? How can I be an entrepreneur? What does it mean to run a small business? I love the episode where we even go and visit Gandhi and we learn about peaceful conflict resolution. I think we have a lot of really fun concepts, and I'm really excited to bring it to the public.
Awesome. Cool. So I think it kind of enough questions for me. I know you would like to take us on a little bit of a tour of kind of, I don't know if we'd call it a day in your life, or just kind of helping the audience understand a little bit of what you do as a producer and how the process of how a show kind of comes together and gets to the final of what they see.
Sure, yeah. And there's all different types of producers. So what I'm doing with Tuttle Twins is what would be referred to traditionally as a creative producer. And what that means is that I can help out from any aspect that needs to be helped within the production. But it also means that your days are very varied in terms of what it is that's going to be coming at you and what it is that you have to do. I like to say that the number one job of the producer is to put out the biggest fires first, because there's always going to be fires all around you. Sometimes, that meme with the little dog that's sitting in the fire and he's just like, it's fine. You kind of gotta get into that mentality a little bit, where you're just sitting there going, it's fine. We're going to have an end product and it's going to be wonderful and everyone's going to love it and we'll get there. So It's a lot of staying positive as well as organization. So organization is definitely key. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit of behind the scenes, a little peek behind the curtain, if you will, in terms of what we do to help us keep organized when it comes to reviewing and processing animated clips. So I think some people might get a little sneak peek at some animated clips that we may not have shown before, which is fun. So let me hop into it.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I will say on both it's fine, staying positive, keeping a calm outlook. Jordyn's very good at that, which makes her a very good producer, as well as the creative side of input, but then also just the organization side. Man, I cannot believe how many things that she can juggle at once. So we're super grateful to have her. But anyway, we'll see one of the systems here that she uses that helps keep us all organized.
Yeah, and it's not just about juggling. People say you juggle and there's multiple balls in the air. You got to make sure you don't drop them. Well, you're juggling a bowling ball along with a chainsaw, along with an orange, along with this. So you got to make sure that none of them drop. Cool. So this is our review system that we use, and again, this is specifically for our design elements when we work with animation houses who are doing some design elements for us, or if we're working with animators who are actually doing animation for us. So on the left-hand side, we have each episode. You can see right now we're tracking with episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are all in the animation stage of production. And it breaks out into a couple of different elements. So each episode, of course, we have the animatic, which is what the audience gets to see in these live streams. We have the animation, which is what we know as the final. And then we have our backgrounds, our characters, our props, and our rigs. So lots of elements. And it doesn't look like too much until you open one of these guys up. So these are all of the different shots that make up episode 1. Episode 1 is we're finalizing some shots right now, which is fun. So let me go ahead and over here, go to anything that is approved. So once you see I changed my filters to approve, we have lots of different stages that we hit for each one of these shots. So each shot, it starts off in blocking. That means just kind of setting up your scene. You can think of it like if you were going to have a puppet show, first you need to build the stage, right? So we have our blocking that has to happen, and that happens with layout. It's often called blocking and layout. And then we have our clean animation that comes to us, and then it's followed by our composition. So we come in here.
For people that are wondering, I'm paying attention too. My face is just pointed down towards the screen where I'm seeing Jordyn do her thing.
Cool. And Daniel knows this too. He definitely doesn't need education in this. It's something we do all the time. So this is where we come and we can see any new elements that have been loaded into the back end, as we call it. And then we can add notes if there's anything that we feel like has to be still completed within that shot. And then we can watch the composition as it happens, or rather the animation as it's happening. So,
Vamos, we got an appointment.
This light?
Vamos, we got to get to an appointment.
So you can see we have the animation here. And then if there's anything, let's say for whatever reason, there's something else that has to be done to it, we have the ability to mark that up. So if we want to draw on the animation, maybe Grandma's hair, we want it to move a little bit differently, or maybe we want Ethan's mouth to open up a little bit more when he says something, then we have the ability to go in and actually draw directly on the frame as well, so that we can give all of those.
You want to show them that?
It has to open up in a separate tab, and I believe I'm only sharing one tab with you guys right now. But
it won't open it right there.
Vamos.
Okay.
Yeah, it opens up in another tab.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, yeah, you can draw right on the screen and be like, oh, actually make Grandma look like this, or like the mouth movement's not quite right here, or you can make little notes, and then the animators will know the exact frame, the exact moment that happens in the video.
Yeah. So we do that for every single shot. So for the entirety of episode 1, there are 330 shots. Now, a shot is whenever, basically, if you were filming with real cameras and real people in real life, you could think of a shot in terms of whenever we need to use a different camera for a scene. So we have 330 of these, and each and every single one of these is broken out into that layout and blocking, then clean animation. Then we add our effects after that. The effects are really fun because that's where we get our smoke and our fire, and that's where we start to see some of those. The effects help bring it to life. We start to see some elements that help make things pop.
Can I help break this down for just a second?
Of course you can. Go for it.
Let me go back to my screen. So let's say, for example, the layout would be the first and foremost. We would take my screen and we'd remove me and be like, okay, here's the layout. It's got this chair, it's got the sofa behind it, these pictures in the wall, and that's basically the way things are going to be laid out. So that'd be the layout. And then the blocking would be just the character set in, not moving, essentially just in a spot of like, okay, this is how blocking means. It's where your characters are going to be positioned inside that space. And so then you'd have an approval on that as well. So that's the blocking. And then you'd have things like, a prop is being introduced. So a prop is anything that like a character can interact with. Like this would be a prop. Or, these keys would be a prop that moves with them. But the background is anything that's not really going to move, that's just kind of sitting back there. But if I pick up an item, that's going to be a prop. And so I'm a character, that's a background, those are props. And so what did that cover? That covered the layout, the blocking, and then animation's the movement.
Yeah.
That's just getting the movement and making sure the mouth is moving right, and making sure the arms are moving right. That's kind of the different stages. Does that help?
I think that really helps. And the fun part about animation too is that it's acting. The animators don't just have to move the puppet around, but the animators actually have to know how the character would act in that scene. So if Emily's really excited, she's not going to go, wow, I'm really excited. She's going to go, wow, I'm really excited. And she might throw her hands up in the air. So the animation helps bring the acting forward. Yeah.
You can go back to her view now. She can share her screen again. Anyway, I just want to demonstrate that.
So yeah, and to demonstrate with some visuals, here is a shot that we have that is final and approved. So this was the layout stage where you can see, even here, I'll mute this for a second. You can see the storyboard behind the elements. So right now the animation company is just saying, hey, do we have the right elements in this shot? There's supposed to be his gun here as comes around the table. So we have the table, and then we have the cows and Carla. Now, clearly, Carla's smiling. The cows aren't in the right position, but we just need to know that the right elements are there. Then we go into blocking, which is getting those movements in there. So you can see, again, it's not quite complete, but we have the major poses in there for that animation. Then we move into something.
The blocking is your major poses, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then we get into some clean animation. And then if you have a keen eye, you can tell the difference between our clean animation and our final composition. So our final composition in most cases with these shots, it's where we're putting in a little bit of background blur to give some depth. So we do a little bit of blur on the background while the main foreground character is nice and clear, and it helps give that depth and the clarity to the shot.
And that'll be more visible when you see it in the final product than when you see it on the live stream. The live stream obviously kind of compresses everything down. It doesn't come across as clearly on your screen, but that'll be a lot more visible for the final product when you stream it through the app. Anyway.
Yes, cool. Most definitely. So lots of fun stuff. Every day we get to look at new clips of animation. And if that day we're not reviewing animation, then we are reviewing voiceovers, and we're reviewing voice auditions, and we're recording with actors. And so there are definitely a lot of elements that ultimately have to come together, not just the animation, to make an animated series. So we have our writers, which we've had on the stream before, right? And then we have our storyboard artists, and then we have our sound designers and our composer. And so a lot of elements have to ultimately come together. It takes a village to make an animation.
Yeah, a very big village, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually sitting down today. We're at the stage where we're starting to finish up episode 1, and I was writing down the credits for all the different parts. And man, it adds up. There's so many people that are involved at so many different stages, and it's huge. It's awesome. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for doing that walkthrough. Is there anything else you wanted to show, or was that kind of the basic rundown?
I think possibly when we have some questions, maybe I can show some additional stuff.
Maybe we can show some other. Now, do you have any other examples of that other one that goes through the different stages of the shot, so they can see one other example of where it's gone from the layout to the blocking to the, all the way through that?
Yeah, so here's another one. Let's see, 233. This is actually, I don't know if the audience has seen any animated Sheriff Winkle yet, but here's our lovely sheriff. So his original
I'm calling town meeting right now.
Is him just standing nice and still in the right environment. So we make sure that we've got that down. And here's
I'm calling town meeting right now. I'm calling town meeting right now.
Basic blocking, where again we see the storyboard in the background, and then we see how the animator is mimicking the motion that has been drawn in the board.
The board being
I'm calling town meeting right now. I'm calling town meeting right now.
And then there he is all cleaned
some of the little details that you might not have noticed, for example, we had kind of had this little goof up where we had a drawing that the animators had gotten a hold of where Sheriff's mustache, his facial hair was too high. It came up where really it's supposed to follow his mouth. As he does a big smile, then his goatee and his mustache would be formed like that. But when he regularly talks, it kind of follows the shape of his mouth. And so you've seen that kind of corrected as we've gone through the different stages. So that's part of the process.
Exactly. Then a really tricky one that is always a kind of a nail biter in the process is making sure that all of our lip syncing is correct. Because obviously in real life, we don't have to think about the way our mouth is shaped when we're talking. But when you're animating, you have to actually shape the mouth of the character. So it is a little bit of a tricky process to make sure we get all that lip syncing down as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Let's take questions if we have them. And while we've still got Jordyn here, and before we jump into the animatic. But yeah, if you have any questions for Jordyn or about the TV series in general or about whatever, I mean, if it's about your personal life, we probably won't be able to help a whole lot, but I just want to be open to whatever questions you guys have at the moment. Any comment you leave in there is going to be great for us. So I'm okay if you ask about, advice on what to get for dinner. Give an overview of the rest of the stream. Okay, so we'll take these questions right now, answer as many as we can, and then we will go on to watch the animatic for episode 4. I should let you know it's in kind of what state it's in, where it's got, so the animatic itself it's got a lot of my voice in it. I guess let's just put it plainly. There's a lot of rewriting we had to do in the animatic process And so once we had recorded with temporary voices, sometimes it was more convenient when we were editing for me just to record it right there, or my editor to record it right then and there, and to put that in and to manipulate our voice. So you'll hear a lot of times when the voices don't sound great, and that's just enough to communicate what's going on, and that'll all change for the final. But then we'll also see a little bit of the character designs kind of jump around, because we had different storyboard artists that were changed at different times, and we had a little bit of a process on this one where not everything was perfect in the way it came together, and so you'll see a little bit of kind of the roughness, but it'll still give you an idea of where we're going. So it's a little bit rough in that way, but you guys have seen that kind of stuff before. So, all right, questions. Should we go back to, let's go back to the screen with Jordyn and I rather than her other one here. Okay, how long does it take to animate one shot, say a 4-second shot? That's a better question for Jordyn than for me.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the actual animation itself, if you get it to a rough state, you could probably do that in, around 2 to 3 days. But to really finesse it and make sure that we have everything as it needs to be, exactly the right animation on the character, exactly the right lip sync, all of the effects, that could take, 2-3 weeks. It also depends if you're going to animate something. So if you're thinking of animating at home, first think of the background picture that you're going to draw. What environment is your character going to be in? Then draw your character and come up with a personality for that character. All of that definitely takes time. But then once you nail down all of that and come to the actual animation process, if you have a really good idea of exactly who your character is, you can go through the animation process even quicker. So it's a lot of forethought that has to go into just simply animating a character.
And it also depends a little bit on just the speed and experience level of the individual animator.
Oh, yes.
Right? But yeah, and the complexity of the shot too, right? If it's got like fire effects and water and those kinds of things that have to be animated frame by frame, then that's going to take a lot longer. But if it's just the simple character that's being puppeted, and that's what our programs do, it's we animate in Toon Boom, where essentially you've got a character designed and then they can be puppeted to do what they need to do to open their mouth or do that kind of thing, then it goes a lot faster than if stuff has to be drawn frame by frame. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Kayla. All right, so May Harding from Virginia, or Ella from Virginia, 8 years old, wants to know, what's your favorite episode? Oh my gosh.
You answer first, Daniel.
Then I'll say.
Oh no, I already told you to go first.
Oh no. So the answer is I don't have one. Whatever episode I directed, so episodes 1 and 4, those are the ones I actually probably hate the most right now because I'm the one that's close to them, helping create them, and it's just a lot of work to get it done, and at some point you're just like, is this any good anymore? So quite honestly, I like a lot of episode 2 and 3, which are the ones Tyler and Johnny are directing. I'd say those are a couple of my favorites for me personally, but I'm the wrong one to ask because I was on episode 1. You're always learning a lot on the first time, and we're creating the show. And then in episode 4, I'm just in the thick of it right now, and so it feels so. It's not so far from done, but it feels that way, and so it makes me just have clouded judgment on that. So Jordyn, I'll let you share which one.
Yeah. I love all of our episodes so much. I think if I had to pick a favorite right now, because we know we're going to have a full season, so some of the episodes are still being discovered at the moment. But of the episodes that we have in production, I think Johnny's episode would have to be my favorite because I love George Wormington and Napoleon Wormapart. And I think we have a lot of really fun comedy when we go into the worm farm that Emily's using for her science project, and we learn about peaceful conflict resolution with worms. Like, who would have thought of that? It's fantastic.
Yeah, that one's really fun. Yeah, anyway, got a lot of good episodes coming for you, but I'm really excited about the ones, episodes 5 and 6 that have started into production now, and even 7 and 8 that we're writing right now. Anyway, we'll give an update more on that later, but yeah, those are our favorite ones. Okay, other questions here. We love y'all. Well, thank you, Jacoby. Really appreciate that. That actually means the world. Just the support overall is huge. Just getting through a show like this it's a huge feat. So we really appreciate that. How many episodes is Jordyn going to produce? Well,
742.
that's right.
Um,
Well, we've had this conversation. I'm like, Jordyn, how many can you handle at once? and the number, I think the number you kind of landed on, you're like, I think 4, I'm good. 5's pushing it. I think 6 would maybe break it, right? It was kind of the conversation we were having. So there's that question of how many you can handle at once. But I mean, the idea is to, I'll let you say it, Jordyn. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, the way right now that the production schedule is, we shouldn't have any more than 6 at one time in production, and they will all be at various stages. So the answer of how many I can do at once is even kind of a little varied because it depends on what stage they're in. Some stages need more babysitting than others. Yeah. I would love to stay with the show and, all the way to the end when we're at season 10, maybe 11. Who knows?
It's going way beyond 11, so you're not going to get to the end.
We're gonna be the new Simpsons. We're gonna have like 47 seasons.
In all honesty, I think there's some real openness to that. Of like, I would love to lay a foundation. I'm hoping that we're laying a foundation that can outlive me and outlive Jordyn. That would be the hope, and that'd be amazing if it could do that. So that's what we're working towards. I don't know if it'll actually play out that way, but yeah. For sure, looking at kind of a 10 season plus type of trajectory. So, okay, next question. Any other ones coming in? What do we got here? This is Jake, Andrew's son. When will you make your own app? Okay, good question. Okay, so we don't make the app. The app is made by our distributor, which is Angel Studios. I believe they're actually presently working on the app, and that will be ready in September. It will be ready with episodes 1, 2, and 3, all to be able to watch for free. So yes, it'll be September. I can't tell you what date in September yet, but in the month of September, we plan to release the app to download for free on both Android and on an iPhone. And you'll be able to watch those first 3 episodes for free, and then we'll have episodes coming up after that shortly. There'll be another one, and then another one, and just keep adding on to the app until we've got the full season. So there we go. Other question, Jordyn, are there going to be any movies or specials featuring the Tuttle Twins?
Ooh, I would love there to be. I mean, every episode is special.
Yes, there we go. That's the correct answer. Every episode is special. Wouldn't it be fun? Let's just brainstorm for a second together. What would be a fun special? Leave a comment. What would be a fun special Tuttle Twins production or feature that you guys would like to see? I mean, I know a couple things that come to my mind. Something around like the 4th of July would be a fun one about Independence Day, or maybe there'd be a Christmas special at some point, or I don't know what it would be.
When I think special, I always think Charlie Brown Christmas special. So Christmas is always what comes to my mind when I think special.
Yeah, that could be really fun. But anyway, if you've got ideas for specials, leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear those. Any other questions? Merch update, Brett. Oh boy. Okay, so you've seen I am wearing a shirt. This is a one-off, meaning it's screen print. Is that what it's called?
I mean, Daniel's the only one who has it. It's exclusive.
I'm currently the only one that has a Tuttle Twins t-shirt. We will eventually be making a t-shirt of this nature, something close to it for you to be able to buy. And that'll be, we'll let you know at that time. And we're very focused on the show, on the creation of the show right now itself, because we feel like the merchandise will largely flow from the content of the show and the way that you as an audience react to the show. Meaning, we don't know every moment in the show that's going to become iconic, or every character that's going to be fallen in love with the most or the least, or whatever it is, or what lines are going to kind of come to the surface. And we'll really be keeping an ear to the ground on the way that happens. I mean, we've seen some feedback, but as we gather more and more feedback, it'll really help us understand kind of what merch we should be making. But we have stuff in plan. I think we'll have stuff available to buy in time for Christmas for sure. And I think we'll probably have a couple of items that'll be ready to go when we launch the app, when the show is available. So that'll be pretty cool. So there's the merch update. Any other questions? Besides your website and VidAngel, has other media sites expressed interest in the show? If so, what sites are they? Good question, Michael. Besides your website and VidAngel. Okay. Yes. The short answer is yes. We have had one or two, I would say, major websites or companies, distributors approach us about putting Tuttle Twins on their platform. I can't say much more about it than that, but ones that would be, pretty big opportunities if it can work out, if all the things fall into place. And but yeah, the idea is for it to very much go beyond the reach of just what we have with the app with Angel Studios, and then what the first episode will, it'll be released for free in September on Facebook and YouTube, and it'll be available for people just to watch in its entirety for free. It'll point them toward the app and that type of thing. But obviously, we want to go beyond those kind of channels, and we're very much open to that. But yes, we've had interest along those lines, and we are actively pursuing that. So yeah, that's the most I can say about it. Cool. Any other questions?
Someone had a fun idea about an election day episode. I like that idea.
Oh, an election day episode could be very cool.
Right.
Hey, say, Jordan, are there going to be any video games based on the series? That's how a lot of prominent animated series draw in additional revenue.
I know you would love to see it at a video game, Daniel. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, I would love to. I think we would both really love to see that come to fruition. And I think that would be the plan long term. I guess the way I'm thinking about it, I don't want to just make a game to make a game. I'd like it to be something that feels like it flows out of the story in a more natural way, that has actual gameplay that people want to play with. I think there's a lot of video games that are kind of spun off of other properties that don't end up being that great of games themselves. And some people will buy them, and that's fine. It's not like it's the end of the world to do that. And I think there would be openness to exploring what that might be. But I'd love it to be a game that people just really want to play and has some sort of, an educational value to it or something along those lines. But anyway, yeah, games would be a lot of fun. Again, one step at a time. Got to get a season out there first before we start thinking of the video games. Okay. Is that about it? Cool. All right, we're going to call that good. Cool. Thank you so much, Jordan, for your time. Thanks for coming on. I'll let you get back to your busy day, which probably hasn't ended because I know mine hasn't.
I was going to say, it means you and I still have to talk later today as well. So still lots of work to do.
We've got plenty more work to do. I've had a writing retreat all day long, and I'm going to be reviewing, editing shots clear into the night and stuff. That's just the way it goes around here to get this thing done. So awesome. Thank you, Jordan.
Cool.
And
thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
All right, that was awesome to have her on, and we'll now jump into the animatic. Again, as a reminder, you're going to hear my voice in here a lot, either manipulated, like pitched up or down in the tone, because it just had to be put in to replace certain lines, rewrite just certain things that weren't quite making sense when they were in script form, and we were finally putting them in animatic form, or you'll hear the voice of Tyler, one of our editors, or some other different people. So all the voices are temporary in here, and then the voice of Grandma isn't the final voice of Grandma. It's the voice of Natalie, who is actually our voice for Corinne. She's the final voice for Corinne. And what else? Some of the drawings change a little bit over time, and that's kind of interesting to watch, just because of the way things worked out with different storyboard designers and stuff. But it will all look good in the final animation. So the look of it is a little bit kind of jumping around. Bear with us on this. Hopefully this will communicate the story the way it needs to, but this is about entrepreneurship. And excited to share episode 4, the animatic, with you right now.
I want to go down the slide, but I'm so hungry. My energy stores are depleted.
Why didn't we bring a snack?
Even you didn't bring anything?
Just my contingency gummy bear.
Why?
Get on, quick! There's no time!
What's wrong, Grandma? Is it time for an...
Sorry, guys. Playback having some difficulties. We'll get that fixed. Here we go. We'll try another thing here. We've got another trick up our sleeve to make this work.
I want to go down the slide, but I'm so hungry. My energy stores are depleted.
Oh, why didn't we bring a snack?
Even you didn't bring anything?
Just my contingency gummy bear.
Seems like it's not playing back right. Something is not playing back right. Our streaming service provider made an update that supposedly was supposed to allow us to do what we're doing right now, but it's not playing back smoothly. So we'll give it another try, and we'll see if this is gonna work.
I want to go down the slide, but I'm so hungry.
I don't think that's gonna work.
One more thing.
Hang on. It's gonna be okay. In the event that this doesn't go the way we want it to go, which it isn't right now, but we're still crossing our fingers that it will, we will find a way to get this out to you so that you can view it and enjoy it with your kids, and give us feedback if you have any. That'd be fantastic. But right now, it's looking like got a couple more tricks up our sleeve to see if this will work. Here we go.
My energy
I think that one was maybe working.
stores are depleted.
Why didn't we bring us?
Which one is it? Is the one down here? Okay, give us 1 second. Here we go. I keep saying that. Eventually, it'll be true if we wait enough seconds.
I want to go down the slide, but I'm so hungry. My energy stores are depleted.
Why didn't we bring a snack?
Even you didn't bring anything?
Just my contingency gummy bear.
Why?
Get on, quick! There's no time!
What's wrong, Grandma? Is it time for an economics lesson right now?
No, we're going to lunch. Derek's paying.
Why didn't you say so? Step on it. The swings are free.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host for tonight's show.
I made my secret popcorn sauce.
All right.
Earthquake!
It's my mom.
What? Is it her bulldozer again?
No, we took that away.
Mom, no!
I'm just gonna move their house poco. No.
Well, what is it?
An entire planet made of garbage? That's Derek's idea of lunch?
I guess one man's trash is another raccoon's red lobster.
Why does it smell like a dumpster?
Derek.
You can't blame the raccoon every time.
Introducing the cat massager.
Ooh.
Hey, what's the show about?
It's a show.
It's a show where entrepreneurs try to get money for things they've invented so they can grow their company and serve more people.
Oh, so they're just copying that other show, Piranha Tank.
All right, judges. These are self-inflating bike tires.
Ooh. Ah.
Oh, wait. An entrepreneur is a business person, right?
They can be. An entrepreneur is someone who creates a product or service that helps people.
The entrepreneur makes problems fewer.
Introducing the Pluff!
Most of the time.
Thanks for the opportunity!
Do we own anything from an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Everything you can touch in any room is made by an entrepreneur.
I'm super excited to partner with you and invest in your company. Meaning, I'm going to give you $50,000 to help grow your glow-in-the-dark toilet business. You can start a business with a cool idea? Whoa.
I want to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Anyone can be an entrepreneur. Unless you live in a totalitarian regime where they oppress people, resources, and ideas. You know, like North Korea or California.
Ethan, we love you!
Your invention saves humanity!
My daughter!
Gracias.
Well, guess I need to make some more popcorn.
Don't forget the secret sauce.
And I guess I need to get another bowl.
Oh, get off me!
Amazing!
You're a hero!
Wait, how do we get the money to start a company?
If you don't have investors, you can always use your savings to start.
If you come up with a good idea, I would be an investor. I'll give you some money to help start your business and then make my money back when the business does well.
That would be great. But how do we come up with a good idea?
Tell you what, I need to visit an old entrepreneur friend of mine. I owe him money, and since he's been dead 200 years, I'm starting to feel a little guilty. You could ask him right now! Like right now, like we're already here.
Is this thing lightning proof?
Yes, we're not, but the wheelchair is.
Grandma, we're gonna miss the rest of Shark Pool.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to sacrifice some of your free time to create something new. Plus, this is a time machine, so we'll be fine.
Where are we going?
To visit my BF.
Your best friend?
No, Benjamin Franklin. And he was more than just a friend. He was a founding father, inventor, and known as America's first entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
And a great kisser.
Gabby!
Frankly!
Literally no one calls me that. Would you like to accompany me as I fly this kite and see if Fluffy can discover electricity?
Here, use this instead.
But how am I supposed to tell if it's been electrocuted? Good thing I invented the lightning rod, or all my inventions would be on fire right now.
You invented that?
I'm sorry, I honestly didn't see you there until just now. Are these your grandkids, Gabby?
They sure are. Uh-huh.
Well, let's go inside where it's dry, and I can get another cat.
Here you go. My debt is repaid.
What's this?
It's money, Frankles.
Wow.
Yes, in the future, you may get onto the $100 bill.
I'm going to be president?
Well, actually, it's...
Shh! Let him have this.
Wait, what's a symbol?
the Great Seal of the United States, a bald eagle.
Oh, nasty! Should be a turkey.
Speaking of turkeys, my grandkids are trying to come up with an idea for something to make and sell.
We just don't know where to start, but we like to create something new.
Oh, yes. To cease to think creatively is to cease to live.
That's a real quote.
I have an idea. To help inspire you on your creative quest, let's visit some of my inventions being used. It's a new kind of fireplace that produces more heat and less smoke. I named it after myself, the Franklin Stove.
Your last name is Stove?
How did you get in here? I thought they couldn't see us. Here I am as a child. I invented a pair of fins for swimming faster when I was just 11.
That's how old we are.
Good for you.
Nice hair, man. You were way ahead of that bald mullet trend.
I'm old. He thinks you're me.
I don't know.
How do you come up with good ideas every time, Mr. Franklin?
Oh, I don't. To come up with a good idea, you just have to come up with lots of ideas.
Which might include some bad ideas.
Woo! I've lost a lot of money. Here are some ideas that didn't make it. The glass harmonica. Brace yourselves. This is going to blow your mind. I still don't understand why nobody liked it. Who wouldn't want a series of glass bowls graduated in size to produce music by means of friction?
Don't mention bowls around Derek.
Here's my attempt at a new phonetic alphabet. I didn't think we needed certain letters like J or W, but no one liked it, especially my friend Jack Wawui.
Dear Ben, I hate you and your stupid alphabet. Love, Jack Wawui.
Jefferson and Washington weren't fans either.
Failing with an idea is scary.
This isn't very encouraging at all.
Well, thanks for the tour, Benji Poo.
It was good to see you, Gabby. I can't wait to use this money when it has value in a century.
Good point. Well, if you don't want it.
Woohoo! Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey now, twins, why so glum? Was it Ben's big weird head?
Partially, yes. But it's...
Gabby! Annie, my rich friend!
What? I'm not rich.
Whoops, wrong here. Annie, my rich friend!
Just call me your friend.
Who is now rich. Kids! Annie Turnbull Malone is the first African-American woman to become a multi-millionaire in the United States.
That's awesome!
How'd you do it? My whole future depends on what you say next. I'm listening.
I saw a problem that no one had solved yet, and so I solved it. There weren't any good hair care products specifically for the curly type of hair I have as a black woman, so I made some.
And got super rich.
I don't like to brag, but I do. I'm Annie's assistant and biggest fan. Annie has provided jobs for almost 75,000 people across the world. She also gives lots of money to charity and even opened an orphanage.
Tax write-offs. Muy bien.
Other companies' products were made for people with straight hair. Or were straight up toxic.
But my products were made so that black women could easily style their hair the way they wanted. The entrepreneur makes problems fewer.
So you just bought this big building and began selling your product?
Girl, please. I started with nothing but a little elbow grease. I tested products in my kitchen, then sold them door to door. But after a lot of hard work, Annie was able to buy this building, which has a factory, instructional college of cosmetology, and a beauty parlor. She also opened schools in 15 major cities and even expanded her beauty line to multiple countries. Zuzu, stop. You're embarrassing me.
Man, some people have all the luck.
Check yourself, boy.
Luck had nothing to do with it.
I'll take it from here, Zuzu.
She's right.
It wasn't luck, honey. When I started my business, it was almost unheard of for someone like me to own a business at all, let alone have it be successful.
That sounds so risky.
It was. I had to work a lot harder than my peers. Some people even copied my ideas and made similar products.
The nerve.
That's horrible.
But that just meant I had to make my products even better.
I think we're ready, Grandma. We just need to come up with something that helps people.
And solves a problem.
Thanks, Mrs. Malone.
And now the knowledge juice is back up.
You never told us it was down.
I didn't want to overuse that gag. Speaking of problems, do any of your products cure feminine chin hair?
No.
Just wanted to plant that seed.
Okay. Well?
And don't forget your furry water balloon.
At least he smells better than.
Did you change shampoo? That smells nice. Whoa, sweet. You guys are already diving into business ideas, huh?
Yep. We'll come back to you in the morning with our presentation.
And you guys can be our judges. This is gonna be so cool.
Huh. Did our kids just give up TV?
Ugh. What's leaking?
Huh? How are you still hungry?
It's hopeless. I need a snack.
Actually, Ethan, you have a good point. Mm-hmm.
These shark fins are a nice touch. I'm glad we made them.
What happens when kids play their hearts out at the park?
They actually go to sleep at their bedtime.
They get hungry. And the problem is there's nowhere to get food.
We present to you the park's very first food stand. A food stand that serves corn dogs to our hungry peers. We'll call it...
Tuttle Dogs!
Ooh.
Meh.
To start this company, we've got $56 of our own money.
We just need the remaining $100 from an investor so that we can build a stand and fund our first batch of corn dogs.
Now, who would like to invest in the future of playground cuisine?
There! Stop! Pull!
Grandma, would you like to invest?
Dunno. Looks a little... Take my money! What? I want to see where this goes.
Hey, sounds cool to me.
Yeah, me too.
Grandma, are you a millionaire?
No. I'm something that rhymes with it. Cut to montage!
Did you forget your glove again, imaginary friend? This is new. I'll have one corn dog, please.
Our first customer?
Whoops.
Take another one, my good sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're even great at customer service.
I'll take one corn dog for me and one for my imaginary friend.
Okay.
Wow! You've got an appetite, imaginary friend. I'll get you another one.
Yum. Thank you.
We're doing okay.
Okay is awesome. And we got some reviews.
It's edible. 3 stars. Better than nothing, I guess. 3 stars.
1 star? You eat trash. Whatever. We're serving people by solving a problem they had. Tomorrow's gonna be great. Where'd our customers go?
What?
Yoo-hoo, Tuttles! I guess some kids prefer to pay less for their food.
That stand has cheaper corn dogs.
This isn't fair.
Ugh, she copied us.
I improved what you did.
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on! She doesn't even spell corn dog right.
That's how I would spell it.
What's wrong? Can't handle a little competition?
2 corn dogs, please.
Yes, Copernicus. Brand loyalty. That'll be $3 each.
Oh, Copernicus!
Mine are $2 each.
Yay!
But we're your friends.
Yay!
Would your friends charge you extra for a corn dog?
Yeah! Oh, tell you what, to keep it fair, I'll go to Corinne's corn dogs and my imaginary friend will go to Tuttle Dogs. What? He says he wants to go to Corinne's too. Bye!
We've lost all our customers.
Even the fake ones!
Don't listen to them.
This is the worst.
Delicioso.
Grandma, you went to Corinne's stand too?
What? That small middle-aged woman knows how to cook.
I hate competition when it means I lose. Copying isn't fair.
Wait! Annie Turnbull Malone said that people copied her ideas too, and that meant she had to make her products better.
Pretty much everything you can touch was made better by competition. I'll be right back. Because of competition between businesses, products keep improving. We have better things now than kings and queens used to.
Wait, where did you go when you disappeared?
To blow Queen Elizabeth's mind.
Those miraculous chamber pots flush themselves.
And today's makeup won't eat your face off.
Ooh, this land is glorious.
Is that a queen?
Grandma, what if our customers see her?
For that, you need customers.
Ouch. That's savage.
Time to go, Liz. Yes, light bulbs are a thing now, too.
I guess she has a point.
Yeah, it isn't just enough to start a business. We also have to keep up with new businesses.
All right. Well, let's do what Ben Franklin said and come up with a lot of ideas that could bring customers back to our corn dog stand.
Oh, it's nice you have all that quiet time to think to yourselves.
I just wish we had a secret sauce like Mom does for her popcorn. We can create our own secret sauce for corn dogs! And I could invent a brand new type of holder for sauces so people can eat them on the go.
Let's do it!
Who's up for another montage? Derek!
Tired of boring old ketchup? Up your corn dog game with the famous Tuttle family secret dipping sauce. We've got free samples. Huh?
And with our Tuttle trays, now you can safely dip and walk at the same time.
Patent pending.
Oh, hey, let's go over there. I'm gonna get one.
Oh boy.
This is what everyone is fawning over?
It's gross, I hate it.
Look at how many kids are at the park now. It never used to be this busy before we started our food stands.
The entrepreneur makes problems fewer.
I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, Corinne. Without you, we'd never have made all these upgrades.
Look at us kids, being all entrepreneur-y.
To the free market!
To the free market!
Whatever. You kids did great, ma'am. It's just too bad you're breaking the law since you don't have a government permit to do business in this city.
What?
What's this? It's not from around here. I'm on to you, Grandma.
It's only a matter of time.
Prunes do the trick for me.
Click. There we go. Now I'm back. Okay. There we go. That's episode 4. Hope you enjoyed it, and that you give us little reactions, comments, and things like that, feedback inside the chat and any of the comment spaces wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, and yeah, we'd love to listen to those. Love to see those reactions. But yeah, that'll be headed to animation shortly, right after we get the final voices done. Time up to those final voices, and obviously some tweaks with some of the drawings and things like that. But yeah, that's where we're headed with that episode. So glad you could join us for that. So a little bit of an update on the show of where we're at. So we have episodes 1 that is finishing. Episode 1 is finishing this month, and then, well, it'll be, what's the best way to put this? It will be finishing. However, we have, in the process of finishing episode 1, we've realized there's about a couple minutes of animation that is not quite up to the standard that we need it to be. And so we're having to redo some shots, redo some couple minutes of the animation on episode 1. That will be done for the app in September. It won't necessarily be done this month. But anyway, the rest of the episode will be done this month. So that's kind of the episode that's kind of the update on episode 1. Episodes 2, 3 are already in animation production right now. The animation's being done for them. Episode 4, we're getting all the design work done for that right now. The backgrounds, the characters, all the assets that will be used, all the different things that will be used by the animators to create the final shots. And then we'll be doing the voice on those. And then episodes 5 and 6 are in storyboarding. So this animatic that you see right now, all those storyboards are being drawn right now by our storyboard artists for episodes 5 and 6. So that's all being worked out. And then episodes 7 and 8 are in writing right now. We just finished the first draft of episode 8 today. They're actually a little out of order. We're finishing the first draft. I think it's next week. We're a little bit late this week of episode 7 as well. And anyway, so that's kind of an update on where we're at with everything. And then, like Jordan was mentioning earlier, we don't really want to have any more than 6 of these in production at any one point. That's going to be just a lot to take on. It's a lot to juggle. And so we will be kicking off writing on episodes 9 and 10 a little bit later. I can't remember if that's next month or the month after. But anyway, that's the way we're going to get going on those. So yeah, any final comments or questions? I'll stay open for those. So just hang on with you for a bit. Thank you for joining us and for the time that you have. But yeah, hit me up with any final comments or questions before we take off for this one. But thank you again for joining us, for bearing with us to the technical difficulties. I'm sorry we've had such a tough time getting this to work on live streams. It seems like we always go through this testing process beforehand where everything's working great. And then for some reason, when we go live with it, it just doesn't work as well. So we're trying to find a system where we can predictably get the same result every time on air as we are getting beforehand. Okay, who will be voicing the main cast of the show? When can we see the final series trailer and preview of the theme song? Awesome. Okay, so that's Michael. As I mentioned before, some of the voice is being done by so Johnny, one of our writers, is voicing Ethan. We have another actor who is voicing Emily, and quite frankly, we have a couple of actors that have asked to just kind of remain anonymous, and this is very common in animation where you'll have actors that like to remain anonymous for a given part, where they'll do it under some sort of a different name or whatever, and that's totally fine with us. But we've got I mentioned before Natalie Madsen originally of Studio C and now of JK Studio. She's the voice of Corinne, our antagonist. We have an internal editor at Harmon Brothers. His name is Blake, and he is the voice of Copernicus. We actually went. He was our original voice he was our original temporary voice, and then we just fell in love with him in the Animatic and ended up using him for the final. I voice a couple of characters occasionally. They're just little one-off things, but I think each one of our directors will probably end up voicing something in each one of their episodes, just as little bits, both to save money and because each of our directors have a good sense of comedic timing and performance ability, and so that's a really nice place to kind of be able to do something on an animation project that way. And yeah, that kind of covers the one. And then the final series trailer. Yes, I think we'll have a trailer for you next month. It'll be next live stream. Awesome. There we go. We will have a trailer for you next live stream. How's that? It's not going to be like a super long trailer, but we will have a trailer for you next live stream. So that answers that one, which is coming up August something, about a month from now, right? Yeah, roughly about a month from now, we're going to have a trailer for you to watch. So that'll be fun. So cool. Great question. Next one. How much continuity will this show have? What do you mean, Gray, by how much continuity will this show have? Oh, episode to episode story arc. That's a great question. So I'll break that down a little bit for you. Each one of the episodes have to, first and foremost, teach the principle that we are either extracting from the books or that we are discussing with and approving with Connor beforehand. So that's the first purpose of each episode, is to be able to teach a specific lesson to kids. Either some principle of freedom, some principle of economics, something along those lines. So that's what it's going to do. So in that sense, each one of the episodes is episodic. Episodic meaning that it's kind of a little bit of a self-contained story. Now, for people jumping in the middle of the series, it'd be really nice for them to have seen episode 1, right? Where we kind of introduce the fact that Grandma has moved in with the twins, that she's got this time-traveling wheelchair, and that she takes them back in time to learn different lessons. There's obviously the little bits of hints that we're dropping with Corinne along the way, where she's suspicious of something going on with Grandma, and that'll be a part of it. And we'll be dropping that one. I would actually think of it a little bit similarly to what the Marvel Cinematic Universe does, in that if you watch a Marvel movie, like for example, Captain America or Iron Man or Thor, you'll get kind of this self-contained story, but then there'll be just like a couple of little elements in it that are tying into a bigger picture, where you eventually saw that all these Infinity Stones were leading up to this big showdown with Thanos, right? With Infinity War and in Endgame. For any spoiler alert for anybody that that hasn't been watching the Marvel movies. But I would think of it a little bit more that way, where the stories are pretty self-contained, but then we will have elements peppered throughout, not necessarily in every episode, that will kind of tie back to other episodes, where we'll reference different character moments or reference different pieces of the story, where later on they'll talk about their corn dog stand and their adventures with that, or where Corinne will figure out one more little piece or one more little thing about Grandma, and that will reveal to something later on. So we do have an overall kind of season arc for Grandma and Corinne, and that'll be an element of it. But they're largely we very much need the story elements to be motivated by the principles we're teaching, rather than trying to make a really good story and then kind of fit the story elements in. This is really about teaching the principles at the end of the day, and so that's the approach we take with it. And so it can't all be one like perfect, like bingeable story arc. Like I think your kids will want to watch one after the other, but it won't necessarily be in the same way that someone would want to watch something like, I guess, what's a series that's come out recently where each one of the episodes is tying together really tightly. I guess The Mandalorian did it, at least at the beginning of the season and towards the end of the season. In the middle, it kind of was kind of an episode to episode thing, but that kind of tied together. It's not always going to be quite like that. So that was a great question. Okay, next one. Okay, this is going to be a last question, then we'll wrap up. Here we go. Okay, have we officially released or still in the works? Okay, we have not officially released, still in the works. Like I mentioned earlier in the live stream, we will release the app to watch for episodes 1, 2, and 3 for free. That'll be in September. And then for those of you that invested in the show, you will be able to watch an earlier version of it than that. I don't know the exact date on that because we were planning to do that this month, but then the animation for about 2 minutes of it ended up not being up to the quality standard that we needed, and we're having to redo it, which is taking up the time. And that will be done for September, but it's not done right now. We don't want to show you guys something and then you'd be like, well, that doesn't look quite right. That doesn't look like what we invested in. And so we just want to be careful of that, of what we show you when, so that it's in a place where, you know, it's the quality that you wanted and that you invested in. And so I guess there's a little bit more of a question mark of when the timing of the release to you guys, the audience of investors, but that will be before the general audience will be able to see it in September. You'll get an email, you'll get an opportunity to see that one before it's released to everybody else. So that'll be cool. Okay. All righty. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your questions. And hopefully you had fun watching this episode. There's going to be other ones coming up later on. But again, tune in next time we do a live stream because we're going to release a trailer with that, and that'll be a lot of fun. We'll see you on the next one. Mm-hmm.